Imagine you are lying in a hospital bed at the very end of your life. Standing around you are ghosts. These aren't literal spirits. They are the ghosts of your unfulfilled potential, the specific ideas you never acted on, and the talents you were too afraid to use. They're staring down at you, angry and deeply disappointed. They came to you so you could bring them to life, and now they have to go to the grave right alongside you. So ask yourself right now, how many ghosts are going to be standing around your bed when your time comes? To keep those ghosts away, you have to pair your fantasies with hard reality. A dream without a goal is exactly that, just a dream. Look at the data behind high achievers. Reggie Jackson struck out 2,600 times in his career. That is the highest number of strikeouts in the entire history of baseball. But people don't talk about the volume of his strikeouts. Society only remembers the home runs. Those 2,600 failures were entirely necessary data points to hit the ball out of the park. Or consider Thomas Edison. He conducted 1,000 separate, completely failed experiments. The 1,001st experiment successfully produced the working light bulb. Each failed attempt before that was a calculated step forward, narrowing down exactly what would finally work. Denzel Washington experienced this exact mechanism early on. As a pre-med student at Fordham University, he enrolled in a course called cardiac morphogenesis. He couldn't read the material, he couldn't pronounce it, and he certainly couldn't pass it. This graph plots a severe, jagged downward trajectory, a perfect visual for his academic record. With no clear direction, his grades cratered to a 1.8 GPA, prompting the university to politely suggest he take some time off. At 20 years old, he had hit absolute rock bottom. He found himself completely lost, helping out in his mother's local beauty shop in Mount Vernon, wondering what to do next. Then, an older woman in the shop, someone considered an elder in the town, kept staring at him through the mirror. She finally pulled the dryer off her head and delivered a prophecy. She told him he was going to travel the world and speak to millions of people. That academic ruin wasn't the end of his potential. Striking out of pre-med was the precise mechanism required to strip away the wrong path, forcing him to look for his true purpose. Even after finding acting, the failures continued. Early in his career, he auditioned for a Broadway musical. He thought the role was perfect for him, except for the tiny detail that he couldn't sing. He bombed it completely. Instead of utilizing a fallback plan, he walked right out of that theater and started preparing for the next audition, and then the next. There is a strict rule of persistent exposure. If you hang around the barbershop long enough, sooner or later, you will get a haircut. Staying in the arena guarantees you'll eventually catch a break. It took 30 years of working, testing, and failing, but the massive payoff finally arrived when he starred on Broadway in a play called Fences. The irony is where it happened. Fences was performed at the Court Theater, the exact theater where he failed that musical audition 3 decades prior. Success is often just outlasting your own failures. If you are pursuing an ambitious life, you will lose at some point. You will embarrass yourself, and you will be terrible at some point. It is guaranteed. If you manage to avoid failure entirely, it means you aren't actually trying. You are staying completely within the boundaries of what you already know you can do. To acquire something you have never had, you are required to do something you have never done. That process is inherently uncomfortable. You have to abandon the fear of looking stupid entirely. Trading short-term comfort for long-term capability is the only way to genuinely grow. But this reaches far beyond your personal ambition. There are places in the world right now facing severe poverty and crises that desperately need intervention. Africa is just the tip of the iceberg. The Middle East, Japan, Alabama, Tennessee, Louisiana, Philadelphia. The world requires massive help, and it needs it from your generation's untapped potential. You have to commit your specific gifts to these massive problems, whether you have money, patience, specialized skills as a nurse or sociologist, or simply the gift of kindness. What are you going to do with what you have? Never hold back. Take massive risks with the talents you possess. Use your missteps as your compass. And when you inevitably fall, make sure you fall forward.